Gamified high-frequency vocabulary for smartphones and computers. Hello, I'm Guy Seehey of Lexica. Today's agenda. We will talk about high-frequency vocabulary, then I will introduce the gamified word engine and describe how to adopt the word engine. There'll be a question and answer at the end, and I'll take free trial requests. Let's talk about high-frequency vocabulary. What is high-frequency vocabulary? These are the words that occur most often in speech and text. The first 2,000 most frequent words are extremely important for all English learners. High-frequency vocabulary also includes phrasal verbs and chunks, and in fact there are about 30 phrasal verbs within the first 2,000 most frequent words of English. Does your school take an organized approach? If not, you're not alone. In fact, only a very few schools have an organized approach designed to introduce new words and repeat them over time to build retention. What is spaced repetition? This is a proven scientific process for transferring new knowledge from short-term to long-term memory in the most efficient way humanly possible. It employs a schedule of 6 study reviews, each next one set forward an increasingly greater time interval, first 1 day later, then 3 days later, then 10 days later, etc. You can learn more about it by searching spaced repetition online. What does coverage tipping point mean? Coverage describes the percentage of all words in speech or text that a receiver knows. For example, if you read a passage with 100 total words and you know 95 of the words and do not know 5 of the words, then you have 95% coverage of that passage. Tipping point refers to the point at which more people can read and understand a passage than not. Currently, researchers suggest that 95% coverage is the minimum tipping point, where 51% of people become able to understand a body of text. Researchers also suggest that 97% coverage is the minimum coverage level that learners should strive for in order to be able to reasonably comprehend English. How many words do students need to know? To attain 95% coverage of TOEFL, for example, the minimum number of words required is 5,600. To attain 97% coverage of TOEFL, 6,300 words are required. For the SAT test, 95% coverage can be attained with about 9,500 words, and 97% coverage comes at about 11,500 words. But you have to know the right 11,500 words. What are the ways students can learn their vocabulary? As recently as just 70 years ago, it was believed that because there are so many different words, it was best to have students learn their vocabulary passively through extensive reading. In the 1940s, it became popular to use paper lists and flashcards to speed the acquisition of high-frequency words and facts. Today, with widespread ownership of computers and smartphones, digital flashcard use has increased rapidly. Today, the 2 most popular approaches are extensive reading and digital flashcards. According to the research, the rank order from slowest to fastest approach is reading, paper flashcards, paper lists, and digital flashcards are the fastest. With reading and flashcards being the 2 most common ways to learn vocabulary, let's take a moment to compare and contrast them. First off, I want to say that the creators of WordEngine are top experts in the field of vocabulary, and yet we all believe that reading is the single best approach to improving overall proficiency. However, when it comes to increasing vocabulary, WordEngine is 400 times faster than reading, and the extra vocabulary gained with that efficiency helps improve all 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Let's talk about gamified word engine. We began researching gamification about 3 years ago, and in particular, the research of psychologist Paul Howard-Jones on rewards and the neurotransmitter dopamine. WordEngine is a self-study supplement created by top vocabulary experts for use in schools. The patented VCheck test identifies the vocabulary that each student already knows. This allows precise level assessment and needs analysis. WordEngine works for any English language student that knows 1,500 or more sight words and has access to a mobile phone, a tablet, or a laptop. For schools, WordEngine costs about $10 per student. Unlike the so-called free online apps, WordEngine does not violate your privacy by selling teacher and students' personal data. WordEngine teaches vocabulary with a blend of oral, visual, and contextual study tasks designed to inculcate deep comprehension and long-term retention. WordEngine is in use at over 100 institutions, and it has served more than 500,000 students. We provide services to high schools, colleges, universities, language school chains, and multinational corporations. In surveys, teachers and students say they like WordEngine because it's easy to use and it does what it promises. This college student wrote, "I bought a TOEFL vocabulary book with 3,000 words, but I already knew most of them. VCheck let me focus on learning just the TOEFL words I did not know. I learned all 1,200 of them quickly and without stress." This university professor wrote, "Thank you for making this great product. It's easy to assign and grade, and it really does help my students at all levels achieve better scores and gain more confidence." Independent research conducted at national, state, and private universities has shown that WordEngine more rapidly improves proficiency test scores. These studies involved several hundred students and ran for 6 or 12 months. Pre- and post-test scores were compared. The test groups were assigned WordEngine as homework, and the control groups were assigned traditional homework. The time on task was equal. Average score increases for WordEngine students were more than double the increases in the control groups. Students in the test groups scored higher than the control groups because they knew more of the words that occurred in all sections of the second test they took. Okay, let's take a look at the WordEngine itself, the flashcards, the games, and several more key features. This is the landing page, the first page you see when you open the web app. Most students just click on the login button and start using WordEngine because frankly this page is kind of boring. As you scroll down, you'll see the score comparisons from the research. And here are some student testimonials. And teacher testimonials. Information about the creators. There's me and Doctors Charles Brown and Brent Culligan. Years ago, Paul Nation advised their dissertations, and he was also kind enough to visit our office and advise me on WordEngine. Next is the list of available courses. There are vocabulary courses, spoken expressions courses. Clicking a title opens a description about how the course is composed. And recently, we've started adding specific terminology courses. Next, a section on how it works. And here's a section on the free services for teachers. Create classes, see student scores, receive progress reports, and download PDF tests for use in class. Finally, here's an example of the VCheck scores report. But like I said, most students just click on the login button and start studying. So let's do that now with login ID Ohio TESOL and password 123456. Since this is a new account, just like a new student would get, we're going straight to the VCheck test. VCheck takes about 12 minutes to complete. There are 10 items per session, and it generally takes 8 to 12 sessions to finish. Dressing, various, supply, exactly, thin, juice,
defender,
look forward to, immigration. About 25% of the questions are oral comprehension questions. Typically, apologize, overhead, luckily. When the test is 100% complete, you can open the VCheck scores and see your vocabulary scores by domain, and also correlated test scores based on more than 7,000 students' actual test scores. At the top is your overall general English score, then the various standard test domains. If you read the fine print, it says TOEIC, TOEFL, SAT, and GRE are registered trademarks of Education Testing Services, and ETS does not endorse the WordEngine. Back at the top is a download button students can use to send their scores to someone else. At the top left is the menu icon. Let's go to My Page now. On My Page, you'll see your daily and weekly target goals. How much is assigned is in black, and how much you've completed is in colored text. You'll also see the active courses that you can study. General English is the default course, and it's always shown on My Page. You can see your account status, how many days remain in your active period, and here at the bottom is the course library. Here you can select up to 3 additional courses for My Page. All courses are included in the price, and you can change them around at any time. Ticking the box activates a course. Now we can see the courses have been added and are available to study. Now let's look at the Goal Details section. It's similar to My Page, but here you can also see a history of your past goal hits. The top box is your personal goal history, and the box below is your class's goal history. Clicking the red arrow opens the goal history. The name of the class is at the top, plus the weekly goal and how many times you've hit it. Your most recent week is at the top, and you can see how many correct responses you did each week. These goal hits are how WordEngine is graded. Some students will set their personal goal even higher than the goal their teacher has set. You can do that on this page. What you can't do is set a goal lower than what your teacher has set. Okay, let's go back to My Page and check out the flashcards and games. Okay, I'll pipe down now and let's see one complete study session with flash words. Nevertheless. Fundamental. Tail. Biological. Come up with. Collective.
Civilization.
Apologize.
Ethnic.
Fortunate. Politically.
Logically. Symbolize. Metallic.
Gym. This is called the study report. You could see that we got a ribbon for hitting the daily goal. And here are the words from the study session. Clicking on a word reveals all the supporting details for that word. Word Panic Games. Let's look at a complete Word Panic game session. You'll notice that it's like flashwords, but with a mini game up at the top of the screen. Simplicity is extremely important because we want the eyes to remain focused primarily on the words, not the game elements. This game is called Hungry Chicken, and I'll just let it play through without talking.
Look for.
Ask. Person. Grow.
Family.
Behind. finger, step, cost, bring, feel, forget, advance,
left,
march, total, international, communication, basic. Now, if we only had the chicken game, it would quickly become boring. That's why Word Panic is a series of different mini-games, with each next round being more difficult than the one before.
Across from.
involve,
Describe. Of course.
Nor.
Current. Assume. Profit.
Middling. Estimate or estimate.
The Word Engine is easy to adopt. Tell us how many students and the weekly target goals. We send you a spreadsheet of login IDs for your students. After that, each Monday, you'll receive email progress reports. And if you like, you can log into the LMS to see details and download vocabulary tests and word lists for use in class. Lexica provides all technical support for students and teachers. Let's take a look at one of the email reports. Up at the top, you see the name of the group and the teachers who received the report, the start date and end date for the report period. Here you see the name of the group, the teachers given it, the weekly goal, 600, that's a nice high goal, the number of students who hit the goal, and the number that didn't, and the goal hit rate. Next is the average correct responses per student. This makes it possible to compare classes of different sizes. You see first whether they hit it, the name of the student, their login ID, how many minutes they spent in the past week, and the number of CRs. All the top students are listed up at the top. You can see Kanako had 1,347 correct responses in the prior week. That's quite a few. Now the goal was 600, so you'll see most of the students have hit the goal, and just one missed it. And there's a link to the LMS where you can log in and download PDFs of word lists and vocabulary quizzes for use in class. Gamified Word Engine sustains motivation in 6 specific ways. Number 1, goals. We have animated daily and weekly goal trackers. Feedback. We have superfast badges and goal hit medals. Continuation. Progress is shown on every study report. Escalation. Higher difficulty game rounds and gradually higher difficulty vocabulary. Recognition. Level up recognition and teacher recognition. Cliffhangers. Which will be the top class next week? And for teachers that request it, we prepare various certificates that can be awarded to the top students and top classes. Typical student behavior involves logging in once or twice a day, sometime between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. The average study session lasts about 11 minutes, and 75 words are studied. Students learn 300 to 1,500 new words per semester. Classroom behavior patterns. This part's really interesting to me. If a teacher spends 90 seconds a week to recognize the prior week's progress, 70% of students hit the goals, 5% exceed them. If a teacher spends 90 seconds a week on progress and 15% of the grade is based on goal hits, 90% will hit the goals and 5% will greatly exceed them. If a teacher conducts a competition between two classes, 60% will hit the goals, 25% will exceed them, and 10% will astonish everyone, including themselves. Thank you very much for your patience and attention. Please contact me if you'd like to start a free trial program at your school. And remember, WordEngine is a web app. Don't look for it in the app stores. It's not there. Search WordEngine with your browser. You can try it now with login ID Ohio TESOL and password 123456. Thank you very much.